Tonight on CTV News at 6.
I'm Lindsay Alick in Albert, where students are filling sandbags to help the community.
It's fun to be filling sandbags with like friends and stuff, and well, it's also nice to be helping people.
And preparing for the future.
Industrial activity that's happening in the area and that's set to come in the coming years.
Timmins is launching a study to keep pace with growth.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us on this Monday. We continue with our flood coverage right now. A lot of communities in our broadcast region have been impacted. We start tonight with the flooding in French River. Elementary students from nearby Manettville Public School spent the day filling sandbags for those in need. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
Doing their part.
Today we are filling up sandbags to help the community, to give back.
We are supposed to fill about 500 bags today. That's our goal.
13 grade 7 and 8 students from Manettville Public School spent the day at the Albin Community Center alongside search and rescue personnel.
I've taught at Manettville Public School for 25 years, and our community has been really supportive of our school over the years. So I look at this as a great opportunity to give back to a community that's looked after us.
French River Mayor Giselle Pajot says the MTO closed Highway 607, and many residents have already had to leave their homes.
There's quite a few that have evacuated people from Baker's Bay. Some of their houses are already filled with water. One just down the road here on Brousseau, her house, the water has come in. And we're trying to convince the people that live on Murdoch Street because the water is rising and they will not be able to get out. So the road is completely underwater. We don't have boats to go and get them, so we're suggesting that they leave. The behind you, the Albin Community Center will be turned into an emergency shelter for those that don't have any place to go.
Pajot says, unfortunately, the worst is yet to come, with water levels anticipated to continue to rise for at least the next 2 weeks. But she says she hopes they will peak by Friday. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Albin.
And the flood warning remains in effect for Greater Sudbury as rising rivers continue to spill into residential streets. CTV's Amanda Hicks has the details.
This isn't a lake. It's a residence yard in Chelmsford. A number of neighborhoods near the Whitson River are currently dealing with flooding. While Conservation Sudbury says Whitson water levels dropped 27 centimeters overnight due to the chill, they say warmer weather on Wednesday will likely reverse that trend. For Austin Medor, the water breached his yard and filled his crawl space.
If it wasn't for the fact that everything froze Saturday night, we probably would have been flooded. But the garage, our landlord was just here, they have water damage about 1.5 feet upwards.
A short distance away, Boulanger Street is one of 17 roads closed by the city of Greater Sudbury due to flooding. The pressure isn't just on the riverbanks, it's also underground. This viewer video shows the Capriol sewage reservoir overflowing into the Vermilion River. The city says the situation has since been resolved.
A lot of inflow infiltration overwhelmed the system, and so crews were deployed with equipment to try to remove water from the sewer system because we don't want sewer backups into people's basements. And so what happened is that it created additional activity, additional flow to the lagoon, and I understand that the lagoon spilled over the berm at 3 different locations. Now I want to reinforce that lagoons are designed to spill so as to not let the entire berm fail. So that is actually a design aspect of lagoons.
We need to do our part as well to protect the environment, and part of that has to do with being very mindful and using common sense about what we're flushing down flushing down the toilets. Of course, there's obviously an opportunity too for garbage that's not being picked up.
Conservation Sudbury warns that with more rain in the forecast, water levels could exceed the record highs seen in 2023. The current flood warning remains in effect until April 27th. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
And the walking paths are underwater in sections of Bell Park as Ramsey Lake starts to thaw. These images taken Friday near the water treatment plant on David Street show the park benches in deep puddles. And Highway 64 remains closed from Surgeon Falls to Highway 11 today after flooding shut the route down over the weekend. These images from field show how deep the water was over the roadway Friday. Highways 539 and 575 were also closed through parts of the weekend, but have since reopened. The municipality is working closely with the OPP, first responders, and the MNR to monitor the situation. It also declared a state of emergency this weekend. And the hospital, including the emergency department in Mindemoya, remains closed. The ongoing infrastructure issues as a result of flooding are still impacting the Mindemoya Hospital. In a release, the hospital says while the surface water is receding, the sewer lines are still operating at over 100% capacity. Adding, officials are working closely with the municipality to safely reopen. So will Mother Nature help those communities with flooding and keep the rain and snow at bay? To tell us more, let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman in the Weather Center. Rick.
Well, Mother Nature, Tony, as you like to say, is leading off in the first inning right now for the start of the week because we've got a bit of a break. We've got really that high pressure system, lots of sunshine, some cooler temperatures will slow the rising flood water right across the Northeast, or the waters, I should say. Our systems map, we've got some warmer temperatures. You were wondering about that last hour. We will get some warmer temperatures, but with the low pressure system, we've got some rain coming up by the end of the week. And of course, that's not a good sign for communities that are actually battling right now with sandbags and all kinds of help in terms of watching out for that flooding. So some good news, some not so good news by the end of the week, but we'll keep a close eye on that, Tony. Our fingers crossed for those in need, and we're hoping for the best by the end of this week in just a couple of days. Back to you.
Thanks a lot for that, Rick. Well, it's expecting a lot of growth still to come on CTV News at 6. The city of Timmins is embarking on a new growth strategy. Right now, we're heading to Sault Ste. Marie and the International Bridge, and this live webcam is from the International Bridge Administration. It's 4 degrees Celsius. We'll return after this brief commercial break.
Country 91.7. Sudbury's home for the best country music. Listen for your chance to win $50,000 with Pure Country's big $50K payday.
A young person charged in connection with a fatal stabbing in Garson almost 3 years ago pled guilty and was sentenced in a Sudbury court today. We get the details from CTV's Angela Gemmell.
Under the Youth Criminal Justice Act, the youth who was 16 at the time can't be identified. He pled guilty to manslaughter and aggravated assault in connection to a double stabbing in June 2023, where a 17-year-old was killed and an 18-year-old seriously injured. In an agreed statement of facts shared with the court, it was learned 2 teens met along Falconbridge Road in Garson for a physical fight to settle a dispute, each bringing a friend along. A paring knife was used to stab the first victim in the abdomen and the other man in the back multiple times. Several victim impact statements were read in court, including from the mother of the victim. She addressed her statement to the accused, telling him he shattered her entire family and she'll never recover from the heartbreak of losing her son. Defense submitted a letter from the mother of the young person charged, who suffers from health and behavioral issues and had a difficult upbringing, including spending time in foster care. A second teen has already gone through the court system, pleading guilty to aggravated assault and uttering threats. A joint submission from Crown and Defense asked the judge to give the maximum sentence for both offenses. That is 3 years for manslaughter and 2 years for aggravated assault. The judge approved the maximum sentencing to be served concurrently with a credit for time served in pretrial custody. That leaves just 8.6 months or 262 days for the youth to serve his time. The judge reminded him that the victim's family is serving a lifetime of grief. Angela Gamble, CTV News, Sudbury.
2 men have been charged with firearm possession after getting pulled over for speeding. OPP pulled over a speeding car Saturday afternoon near Big Perch Bay Road in Plummer Township, east of Sault Ste. Marie. Police learned the vehicle was stolen and arrested the driver and passenger. A search of the car led police to a 9mm handgun, a 12-gauge shotgun, and ammunition. In Timmins, city officials are planning for the next 30 years. CTV's Lydia Chubak tells us more.
Timmins officials anticipate economic and population growth in the coming years and want to be prepared. City Council has approved a municipal growth management study to help ensure the community keeps pace with future development. The mayor says as far as she knows, this is the first study of its kind for the city.
We know that Timmins is poised to grow with a lot of the industrial activity that's happening in the area, and that's set to come in the coming years. We felt that this was a good time to really get a good handle on where we can grow, how would be the best way to grow, and what would be needed to be able to support the growth that's anticipated.
The study estimates the city's population could increase by about 4,800 people, with approximately 2,200 new housing units needed.
It's a very important piece of work. We're using it more as a baseline, I think, at this point, as we start to think about our planning for the next few years, because we are anticipating that there might be a bit more growth than what was projected in this study.
The city says the study includes 45 strategic recommendations to help guide future decisions as it updates its official plan. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Coleman Township, south of Timiskaming Shores, has a big decision to make: what to do about the campground at Bass Lake. A body of water which is a popular spot for residents during the warmer months, has a campground that is in need of a lot of costly repairs. 4 options for its future are being proposed. In short, letting it continue as a campground, closing the lower campground, closing the upper campground, and letting it be redeveloped, or eliminating camping and making it available to day visits. With a limited tax base and costly repairs, Mayor Dan Cleroux says there's a lot to consider.
It's like building anything else. We can, you have to stage it over, 4 or 5 years. And we can do it, but we really do not want to increase taxes. It has to pay for itself.
And the town hall is now underway. Cleroux is hoping council will be able to make a decision soon. Plans for a private jet for Ontario's premier were grounded yesterday when Doug Ford announced he'd changed course. Today he explained the reasons believed it was needed for the job, while the opposition continued to create turbulence for the government. CTV's Siobhan Morris has more.
I understand that you may be passionate this morning.
Tempers hot in question period over the Ford government's purchase of a 10-year-old, $29 million jet intended for the premier's business.
To say this was just a minor error is absolutely absurd.
Announced and defended by the premier's office on Friday. By Sunday morning, Doug Ford said he's putting the plane up for sale.
It shows leadership when our premier recognizes that a decision needs to be changed, and he changes it.
The premier in Ottawa for a speaking engagement got an earful over the weekend.
I heard loud and clear from the people that this was not the time to purchase a plane.
Ford says he should have been out making the case for the jet, even as Ontarians struggled to get by.
I understand the cost of fuel is going up. I understand groceries are going up. I understand everything is going up and it's costly.
But critics say the plane purchase has marred Ford's For the People brand.
The premier's personal preference to have his own private luxury jet is really speaking more about who he really is.
The premier feels he's victim of a double standard.
I'm under scrutiny more than the prime minister, more than any premier in the entire country. And the inconsistencies from the media are just mind-boggling to me.
Pointing out Quebec and the federal government have jets to move politicians. The reversal leaves the opposition with more questions than before.
We deserve to know how every dollar was spent on this greedy scheme, including the penalties, including the resale losses.
The original buy would have been approved by Cabinet.
I can't disclose conversations that occur at Treasury Board or at the Cabinet level to preserve Cabinet confidentiality.
And new changes to Freedom of Information laws speeding through the legislature may keep more insight in secret.
And the premier has the gall to spend your tax dollars on a private luxury jet
And now he's trying to use legislation to hide it from you.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Back now for a check on your current conditions. Here's Rick.
I like that plane, Tony. If he wants to give me a ride, Doug Ford, I'll gladly take one. Like it. Systems map, courtesy of Environment Canada. We've got some moving systems throughout the Northeast right now. We've got some precipitation coming up at the end of the week. So again, we've got that and a lot more. We also have some warmer temperatures in the forecast. Tony, you talked about that. And you know what? It's going to happen, but with that low pressure system comes some rain in the forecast. So we'll see what we can do in terms of maybe reversing the trend and trying to prevent as much flooding as we can. We'll take a look at our 7-day numbers and a lot more, including our pick of the day coming up, Tony, a little bit later on. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. The numbers are out. Next on CTV News at 6. There isn't much relief for Canadians as the rate of inflation is released. And the federal government says a lot more people were recruited for the military last year. Oil prices are climbing once again as Tehran vows to retaliate for the seizure of an Iranian-flagged cargo ship in the Arabian Sea. Iran's foreign minister says as of now, Tehran has no plans for peace talks. Iran's Joint Military Command calls Sunday's seizure of an Iranian vessel by the United States an act of piracy and says Tehran will respond soon. Sources tell CNN that Vice President J.D. Vance and top U.S. officials are expected to depart for Pakistan tomorrow ahead of a potential second round of talks with Iran. Meanwhile, shipping traffic remains at a virtual standstill in the Strait of Hormuz today. The latest ship tracking data shows just 3 crossings through the strait in the span of 12 hours. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said today that Israel has not yet finished its task in Iran as a 2-week ceasefire is set to expire. Netanyahu spoke during a Memorial Day ceremony in Jerusalem as the U.S. prepared to resume negotiations in Pakistan, although Iran was undecided, saying the U.S. was insisting on some unreasonable and unrealistic positions. High oil and gas prices are all behind the latest jump in inflation in Canada. Last month, the rate rose to 2.4%, with the cost of fresh vegetables also spiking. CTV's John Valley-Rao breaks down the numbers.
At gas stations across the country, prices came down this morning.
Cheaper gas. It's good for us.
As the federal government's pause kicked in, removing its excise tax on gas and diesel.
So today is a 10 cent is lower. Hope it's continued to decrease more prices.
They realize everybody's suffering quite a bit, and I think it's a great thing.
In Toronto, at some stations, the price fell below $1.60. This as the latest inflation data reflected the recent surge caused by the war in Iran. In March, gas was up 21%. Statistics Canada's biggest monthly jump on record, and it helped to drive up overall inflation to 2.4% in March, though that was still below what economists had forecast.
So everyone knew that we were going to see a big jump in the numbers for gasoline. We saw it at the pumps, and now it's showing up in the StatCan data.
At the grocery store, food prices also rose, up 4.4% on an annualized basis, while notably fresh vegetables were up almost 8% compared to last March, their biggest increase in more than 2.5 years.
Everything has gone up in price. I mean, absolutely everything.
You just have to be a lot more selective. Like, you have to plan a lot more in regards to what you want to buy.
StatsCan mentioning cucumbers, peppers, and celery, saying they were up notably because of production challenges in some supplying countries.
It'll affect every household, but lower income households, a bigger proportion of their total budget goes towards food. So this is particularly harmful.
Prices for food in restaurants grew at a slower pace, up 3.2% in March. Meanwhile, with the cost of transporting goods still more expensive, many economists say the ripple effects from that will be felt for months to come. John Valley-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Prime Minister Mark Carney shared a nearly 10-minute-long address on social media on Sunday, described as a way to talk directly to Canadians during a time of disruption.
The U.S. has fundamentally changed its approach to trade, raising its tariffs to levels last seen during the Great Depression. Many of our former strengths, based on our close ties to America, have become our weaknesses, weaknesses that we must correct. Workers in our industries most affected by U.S. tariffs, in autos, in steel, in lumber, are under threat. Businesses are holding back investments, restrained by the pall of uncertainty that's hanging over all of us. The U.S. has changed, and we must respond.
The address touched on a range of topics: the Canada-U.S. relationship, his government's plan on investment, trade ties, and Canada's record on using determination to build big things, mentioning as past examples the St. Lawrence Seaway, CN Tower, and the Trans-Canada Highway. He closed his message saying the situation today requires forward guidance, making reference to a practice used when he was Bank of Canada governor of using overwhelming force against our problems until they were solved. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is denouncing Carney's message, calling it an illusion on social media. Poilievre says Carney wants to keep Canadians in a state of fear and panic to distract from all of his costly failures at home. He says that the problems facing Canadians are all Liberal-made problems and that a rupture with the U.S. is not a plan. Federal Defense Minister David McGuinty says recruitment for the Canadian Armed Forces is at a 30-year high. He says the military received more than 44,000 verified applications to join the regular force, calling those numbers encouraging.
And the good news is, with the pay package that we've introduced, the incentives to hire more instructors, to bring folks from the practice of what they're doing into the realm of instructors, those numbers are up.
McGuinty says the application process has been streamlined and that recruits are now able to get up to speed in their specific roles faster. The minister says recent funding announcements towards pay increases and boosting military housing is also helping recruitment efforts. And there's more news still ahead, but first, here's your full weather forecast with Rick.
Tony, remember that commercial from the 70s? There's no life like it. Join the military.
Yes.
That sounded pretty good at the time, and a lot of people are joining the ranks. Nothing wrong with that. Forecast radar, here we go. Just before your 7-day numbers, we've got a system moving in a little bit later on, but no appreciable precipitation until at least Friday, Saturday. Looks like that's going to happen right now. Some flurry activity throughout the Northeast overnight and some cooler temperatures once again, as you were about to see. Chance of flurries in Greater Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie. Same thing. Snow about 2 centimeters in Timmins, Temiskaming Shores. Flurries 2 centimeters. Flurries in North Bay as well. The flurries haven't left yet. Moose-a-Dee, some snow, 2 centimeters. Caphurst, 2 centimeters. Some snow in Wawa. Light snow, cloud cover in Gore Bay. And a chance of snow, some light snow in Parry Sound with a reading of -5. Sudbury Nickel Belt, here we go. Mainly cloudy for the morning, then sun and cloud for the afternoon. 8 degrees your high. 13 Wednesday, sunny skies. Thursday, some sun and cloud, 15. So here we go with the low pressure system moving in. Chance of showers on Friday at 17. 13 Saturday, chance of showers. And Sunday, some sun and cloud at 11, but some cooler temperatures at night, which is what we need. Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, clearing tomorrow, 15. 15 again on Wednesday, sunny skies. Thursday, sunshine, 17. It's a nice run for the Sioux. Friday, chance of showers, 14. Chance of showers again on Saturday at 9. 10 degrees Sunday, some sun and cloud. That's bang on for your normal at this time of the year. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of sleet, some showers, flurries tomorrow at 12. 15 Wednesday, sun and cloud. Chance of showers on Thursday at 10. 14 Friday, sunny skies. Here we go again. 60% chance of showers on Saturday. Pretty well the story across the Northeast. And Sunday, some sun and cloud with a high of 10. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, flurries for tomorrow. Some flurries overnight, continuing into tomorrow. 9 degrees your high. 12 Wednesday, some sunny skies. Thursday, the cloud cover, 11. 15 Friday, chance of showers, 30%. So you get that warmer weather, but you also have precipitation. That trend will continue into Saturday. 60% chance of showers at 11 and 11 degrees once again on Sunday. Some sun, some cloud, and again, just above normal for this time of the year at 11. North Bay and West Nipissing. Flurries for tomorrow at 6, a rather cool day in that area. Wednesday, sunny skies perking up to 14, 15 on Thursday. Here comes that rain again. Chance of showers 18 on Friday, 14 Saturday, chance of showers. And Sunday, some sun and cloud again. 11 degrees, your expected high. Let's have a look today for our pick of the day. Da, 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 da. Here we go. Terry Martin, Onaping Falls. Yes, that's quite the scene. Fast-moving water. And again, I don't want to highlight the fast-moving water. It's more picturesque than anything else, but we do have some flooding in and around Northeastern Ontario, and it really, it's very, very disturbing at this time of the year. Get away from the water. Kids, stay away. Do whatever you can. Just be safe. Coming up in a couple of minutes, we'll take a look at Game 3 of the NOJHL Final between Sudbury and Timmins with the coach and GM of the Timmins Rock.
The deadline to file your taxes is April 30th. That's the next Thursday. According to Revenue Canada, the average tax refund is about $2,000. A new survey finds many Canadians are counting on getting money back to help them with the rising cost of living. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
More than ever, many Canadians are counting on a tax refund to help them pay their bills. A survey by TurboTax found 69% of Canadians say they'll be financially impacted if they don't get a tax refund this year, and 40% say they're relying on their tax refund to cover the rising cost of living expenses.
Canadians are increasingly becoming stressed over the state of the Canadian market, the economy, obviously being triggered by a lot of the geopolitical tensions that we are seeing occur right now.
TurboTax says there are more than 400 different deductions and credits that you may be eligible for. The survey found 58% worry they may be missing out on tax credits and deductions. Using a tax software program can help you find them.
This is where a tax software like TurboTax with its AI can do that heavy lifting for you, will take out the guesswork.
UFile is another popular tax software program. Like most that are available, they also have a free version depending on your income.
Most softwares will offer a free version of their software, including ours, as long as they meet certain criteria, which are usually not hard to meet.
You can also go to the CRA's website and use SimpleFile, which is a free service for individuals with a lower income and simple tax situation. Many mistakes happen because people forget to deduct expenses they're eligible for. Comparing this year's tax return to last year's can help find errors and omissions.
Double check your return with your previous year's return. Okay, that's very, very important.
The survey also found 1 in 4 Canadians admit they're tempted to claim something they're not qualified for, which is not recommended. One change happening is the GST-HST credit has been renamed the Canada Groceries and Essentials Benefit. It will provide quarterly payments starting this summer to more than 12 million Canadians with low to modest incomes. Pat Foran, CTV News.
The youth hiring period has opened for Canada Summer Jobs 2026. More than 300 opportunities in Sudbury are available for young job seekers between the ages of 15 and 30. Canada Summer Jobs is launching the hiring period this week with an online job bank and a mobile app to help youth gain valuable work experience and long-term employment. The Independent Electricity System Operator awarded 2 significant solar projects for First Nations in Northern Ontario today. And as CTV's Corey Nordstrom tells us, one is set to rewrite the record books.
It's a historic project for Garden River First Nation. Together with renewable energy company Neon, Ontario's largest solar farm is coming to the nation's traditional territory near Wharncliffe. With a 50% equity split, it will net Garden River $1 billion over its 20-year lifespan.
What it means to Garden River is economic prosperity for the future. I think it's also a fact that our members have a voice and that our members also have engagement because with the 50% partnership here, nothing can be moved forward, nothing can be done without Garden River sitting at the table.
The project will be 200 megawatts. It's going to generate a bit more than 380,000 megawatt hours per year for 20 years. So that's the equivalent of what 40,000 households in Ontario would consume every year.
Garden River leadership and staff gathered to outline the details of the project, located 55 kilometers east of Sault Ste. Marie. The project will soon begin its consultation phase, with construction slated for 2028 and a service start date of 2030.
It is a medium-sized footprint at over several hundred acres, just under 2,000. Looking at the current site, there's several hundred acres of plantation there currently.
Neoen had mentioned that there would be about 200 jobs involved in the construction of this position, so looking to fill those with as many Garden River First Nation members as possible.
This comes as Neon and Metechewan First Nation also solidified a 20-year solar farm project, beginning with construction in 2028 and operation in 2029. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Garden River.
Trees for Nipissing is looking for North Bay residents interested in helping to grow the city's canopy. The program, which is subsidized by the city of North Bay, is offering native trees to residents at a discounted rate. It'll be $22 for most trees, and there are 5 different kinds. $5 if you live in the old city because it needs help with the canopy. The not-for-profit says there are benefits for planting on your property.
If you have a tree, it will provide you with and your home with shade so that your air conditioning costs would be less. They also help reduce particles in the air that you might breathe, those microparticles we've been hearing about lately.
And more information can be found in Trees for Nipissing's social media. Trees will be available while supplies last. With Earth Day on Wednesday, Timmins is offering a better way to get around. Timmins Transit will be offering free rides on April 22nd. The city says taking public transit is a more environmentally friendly option to driving. Buses have lower emissions per person and reduces demand for and consumption of fossil fuels. Residents will be able to ride for free all day this Wednesday. A huge donation from the Tony and Anna Ruscio family to the Sault Area Hospital Foundation. $600,000 will fund critical equipment, while another $200,000 will support the Sault Area Hospital Emergency Department. As Earth Day approaches, a BC man is riding around his community looking for things he can upcycle. As CTV's Adam Sawatsky tells us, he's had some unexpected success turning trash into treasure before.
Although it is unusual to see boots outside a bedroom window that were once blooming,
marigolds and cowboy boots.
Chris Poland says he regularly repurposes things like this while riding around finding things others have left behind.
I stumbled upon this bag with a free sign, and it had an old camera in it.
A video camera, likely discarded because its technology is so outdated.
But I didn't really know about it, so I left it in a box for like 2 years.
In the meantime, Chris started playing competitive bicycle polo.
Kind of like hockey on bikes.
But instead of skates, a stick, and puck, you ride around trying to hit a ball into a net with a mallet.
Not many people do the ski poles.
Okay. But then again, not many people are like Chris, who turned these old ski poles he found into polo mallets before cutting orange construction fencing into the wheel guards you need to protect your bike spokes from being bent.
Now I can't go back because the orange is so good.
And it turns out Chris is so good at the sport, he plays all over the place, and was recently invited to compete in Whitehorse.
So I have a friend who happens to be throwing a film festival in Whitehorse.
A friend who also looks for the unexpected possibilities of things and spent months collecting thousands of aluminum cans so he could buy a projector to play the movies.
He called it the Cannes Film Festival, which is pretty nice.
As opposed to Cannes.
Yeah.
So Chris taught himself how to use that old camera, shot this short comedy despite never making a movie before, and was inspired to see how recycling cans could end up cultivating community.
During the winter, to bring people together when it's cold and people need connection up there.
So now that he's back home, Chris will keep searching for things that he can make useful again in unexpected ways.
It's really nice to be able to take the time to do something special and make people laugh and smile.
Which is why Chris is planning to replant those marigolds, because although these boots were made for walking, he knows that's not just all they'll do. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
They are down but not out. Still ahead on CTV News at 6. So the Timmins Rock have lost the first 2 games in the NOJHL final. CTV's Rick Wyman talks with the Rock head coach in just a few minutes.
Clothing consideration provided by
Fashion Fair. Beautiful clothing for today's woman, where quality makes the difference.
Game 3 in the NOJHL final series comes up tomorrow evening in Timmins, and who better than the coach and general manager of the Timmins Rock, Brandon Perry, to tell us more about his team in a hole right now, trailing 2-0 against the Sudbury Cubs. And without being flippant, Brandon, I've got to ask, when do your best players start playing like their best players and get this series turned around for you and the city?
Yeah, I think any time now. I mean, they've been good. They've been really good all throughout the playoffs. Unfortunate result of the first 2 games in Sudbury, but we got some guys dealing with some stuff, and that's just the way it is this time of year. But yeah, we need more from some guys. That's for sure.
Okay, now from what I can gather, from what the commissioner Rob Mazuka tells me, the scores really weren't indicative of the way that your team played. That it could have been a lot closer in Game 1. And particularly in Game 2 when you had a chance. How does a team like the Rock start getting the bounces going their way? They weren't that fortunate in Games 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think you just keep playing hard. And you just keep playing hard, try to execute the best as possible. Yeah, the first 2 games, I think we outshot them both games. Just some unfortunate breakdowns on our part, some bad decisions. But they're an opportunistic team. I mean, they're built really top heavy, and you give those guys chances. It doesn't take much. I think in Game 2, 3 minutes left in the second period, that team had 13 shots on net on us. Anytime you can hold a team of that caliber to that many shots on net is obviously a good thing for your club. But we were losing the game 4-2, so it's just one of those things. They're an opportunistic club. It's hard to play a perfect game, but that's kind of what we're up against right now.
Okay, it's a known fact that you've got to stay out of the penalty box against a team like Sudbury. What are you prepared to tell your team tomorrow night prior to Game 3 in order to avoid any power play situations by the Cubs?
Yeah, I think they only got 1 power play goal in the first game, 1 in the second. I thought our kill was doing a really good job. I mean, you got to play them hard. I mean, you got to get on top of them. You got to take away their time and space. You got to play them tough in your own zone. With that, I think typically you're bound to take a penalty or 2. But our kill's been doing a great job. Obviously, we would like to avoid it if possible, but that's just unrealistic. I mean, you're going to take penalties in a game, whether deserved or not. You're going to get a couple. So it's just a matter of us. We got a job to do. Whether we're going on the kill, whether we're going on the power play, nothing really changes for us in terms of emotion-wise. That's just part of the game. We got to find a way to kill it off and get back to it.
Okay, I'll leave you with this. You got to pack the Mac tomorrow night for Game 3 and Game 4. How are ticket sales going, and how is the city reacting?
The community seems really excited about us being back in the finals. It's been a couple of years since we've been back. As you can imagine, the Timmins community is very proud of the Rock, and we get a good turnout, especially this time of year if we're lucky enough to be playing this late. So I expect nothing less than a full rink tomorrow night. Should be exciting for our guys, and looking forward to it.
Brandon, good luck, of course, with you and the Rock in Games 3 and 4 on home ice at the MAC. And of course, you got to get back into that series against a very good Sudbury Cubs team. Tony, back to you on the desk.
Thanks for that, Rick. Now to the OHL semifinal series between the Sioux Greyhounds and the Kitchener Rangers.
Campbell here for Tanner Lamb. Puck bounces off Lamb's stick. Shot there. There's a chance for luck. Scores!
Quinn McKenzie and the Greyhounds drew first blood Friday night, making it the first time the Kitchener Rangers hadn't scored first in the postseason. The good start would be ruined by the Rangers' next 4 unanswered goals. The Greyhounds are eliminated now from the playoffs in 5 games. Playoff action continued this weekend with another tough loss for the Sudbury Five. Devontae Jameson made a late three-pointer to get the Sudbury Five within 2, but the KW Titans came away with a 95-92 victory in Game 2 of the Basketball Super League Final. The Five host a must-win Game 3 in the best-of-5 series tomorrow night. And the Timmins Tornadoes ringette team picked up a bronze medal over the weekend. The local team represented Ontario at the Eastern Canadian Ringette Championships. The girls opened the tournament with a tie game against a team from New Brunswick and would finish their weekend against a Maritime team in the semifinal. New Brunswick moved on to the final, but it was a well-earned third-place finish for the Timmins team. The royal family has picked a historian for an official biography of Queen Elizabeth II. Historian Anna Kay, best known for her work on Britain's Republican period called The Appointment, a profound honor. She'll have access to the late Queen's personal and official papers in the royal archives, as well as members of the royal family and the Queen's friends and household staff. The animated classic Fern Gully could get the live-action treatment, and White Chicks 2 is also a possibility. David Daniel has more in the Hollywood Report.
Ella Langley has her first #1 album on the Billboard 200. Dandelion, the country singer's sophomore studio disc, debuted with the best week for a country album by a woman in 2 years, according to data provider Luminate.
Yo, what's up, money? You got a problem? Nah, yo, hold my poodle. Huh? Hold my poodle, dog. What, you want some of this? You want some of this?
If you've ever wondered whether the Wayans brothers would make a sequel to their 2004 comedy White Chicks, we've got an update. Sean and Marlon Wayans told Entertainment Tonight if their new scary movie, opening June 5th, does well, a White Chicks 2 can happen.
Deep in the heart of the forest, there is a magical world where wondrous creatures play the day away.
And going back another dozen years, Amazon MGM is developing a live-action version of Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest. Marielle Heller, writer-director of The Diary of a Teenage Girl, is set to pull the same double duty with the new take on the animated fantasy. Remembering the magic powers of nature in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Canada Post workers start voting today on a 5-year contract. The 55,000 employees represented by the Canadian Union of Postal Workers can vote until May 30th on whether to ratify an agreement with the Crown Corporation. Canada Post and the union have battled over wages and structural changes to the Postal Service for more than 2 years, with workers hitting the picket lines multiple times. Both sides have agreed not to engage in any strike or lockout activity during the ratification vote. Home sales in the Northeast are down. This from the Canadian Real Estate Association. Sault Ste. Marie saw the largest decline in new listings in March at just over 34%, down as compared to March of last year. This has also brought the cost of homes down 8% in the Soo and almost 7% in Sudbury and North Bay compared to 2025. While home sales were down in the Timmins, Cochrane and Timiskaming districts, prices rose in the area by 10.5%. More details on the housing market can be found on our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. Sudbury's Magna Mining says its fourth quarter ended on a high note. The company is reporting its strongest quarter for the McCreedy West mine site. CEO Jason Jessup saying in a release today the McCreedy West mine has generated a positive cash flow of $3.3 million, which is contributing to the Levack and Crean Hill projects. Magna has already invested more than $8 million in exploration and evaluation at those sites. The annual rate of inflation ticked up last month with the Strait of Hormuz closure impacting prices here at home. BNN Bloomberg's Lindsay Biscaya has more.
The annual rate of inflation accelerated 2.4% in March, up more than half a percentage point from February. StatsCan says the war in Iran sent fuel costs soaring 21.2%, the largest on record. The agency says if gasoline were taken out of the equation, inflation would have dropped to 2.2%. Food prices also remained elevated, with grocery costs up 4.4% from a year ago. And here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 73.29. West Texas Intermediate climbed to 87.42. Western Canadian Select is down more than $7 to end the day, and the TSX closed the day higher, above 34,000 points. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold up $8.99. Closing the day at $48.29.55 U.S. an ounce. Silver up 30 cents to end the day at $80.02. Copper moved forward 2 cents to $5.96, and nickel down 10 cents, ending the day at $8.33 U.S. a pound. And Rick is back now for one last look at your Tuesday weather.
Let's give it up for the Montreal Canadiens. Tony, as you well know, they're up 1-0 over Tampa in that best-of-7 series. I love that. 8 degrees at Greater Sudbury tomorrow, starting off cloudy, mainly cloudy, then some sun and cloud in the afternoon. 12 degrees in Timmins, chance of sleet. Clearing in Sault Ste. Marie at 15 for tomorrow. Meanwhile, in North Bay, 6 in flurries, chance of snow in Parry Sound, light snow at 10 degrees and 9 flurries in Temiskaming Shores. Tony?
Thanks, Rick. And finally, a weather delay at a baseball game is pretty common, but not this kind. Check out what happened Saturday at a game in Wake Forest, North Carolina. In the top of the first, with 1 out, a dust devil or dustnado spun its way across the field, forcing players, coaches, and the umpire to flee. No one was injured, but it did knock over some tents on a neighboring field. And folks, that's our show. Thanks for watching. CTV News at 6. More news comes your way at 11:30 with Ian Campbell. Have a good night.